Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris Avalon. Happy Thursday. And welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, hot topics, all that good stuff. Might get a little political. So if that's the show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including we're going to talk about this James Gunn Man of Tomorrow story detail news that he spilled over on Howard Stern. Hannibal creator wants our girl Zendaya to star in his, I guess, a reboot or sorts of oh my god, what's that show? Hannibal. Sounds of the Lambs, one of them shits. Anyway, and Kirsten Dunst is giving some tea on whether or not she's interested in a bringing on sequel. Britney Spears is getting mad at y'all and windmilling hard because y'all talking about her house being a mess and having all that damn stuff up in it, dog poop and everything. Hannibal Lopez is opening up about Kiss of the Spider Woman and even revealed some tea about auditioning for Evita back in the day. So we'll get into that. Offset wants peace with Cardi B. Charlie Sheen, and we talked about this the other day. So he actually addressed some long-standing rumors that he SA'd Corey Haim back in the day. So we gonna get into that. And speaking of the Sheens, Joy Behar is going in on Martin Sheen for reporting Charlie Sheen to the police back when he was going through his little drug binge. Jess HElarious is going in on T.S. Madison for calling out Snoop Dogg over his homophobic comments, and she, of course, read her dumb ass down to the floor. So we'll get into that. JoJo Siwa is calling the LGBTQ community a bunch of bullies because she's with a man now. And we got to talk about the Slaysian Royale girls who reacted. Basically, they showed the episode of them finding out that Jiggly Caliente passed away while they were filming their All-Star season. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more. But before we get to that, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll also be putting timestamps in at the end of the show. So those who want to come in and don't want to sit through all, the regular live stream, you can just go to whichever topic in the description that tickles your fancy. Hit that click that timer, of when the episodes or whatever topic you're into, and then just go in and let have. Please and thank you. So now, without further ado, I see we got a couple of people in the building already, but before we get to the regular topics, I gotta address this whole Charlie Kirk situation because it has been haywire all over the social medias. A lot of people getting upset because, well, number one, I don't understand people of color that are sitting up here telling my thoughts and prayers. R.I.P. He was a good one. We lost. I'm like, what? First of all, Charlie Kirk don't like you. He's a racist. He's a xenophobe. He's a homophobe. He doesn't like anybody that is not white and male. And there have been many of things that he said over the years where he does his debates and he says, the whole thing about prove me wrong, which I find weird that he does these prove me wrong type of debates when in fact, when he is proven wrong time and time again, he still is staunch in his beliefs or whatever the case is. And I just feel like it's a grift. And my thing is this: you can't be running around spewing so much violence and hate and stuff in the things you say and not think that because I'm a true believer of the energy you put out, you're going to get back tenfold. And the type of energy he was putting out there, it's like, yeah, it fattens your pockets, but was it worth it? And so there was a couple of, I was going a little crazy with the memes and things all day today, if you see my social medias. But there was one post that somebody had said something that truly resonated with me. And then I want to get into some things about in regards of like how the media has been handling this whole situation, because y'all been giving me the eye roll in regards of like how y'all really have not been handling it. It's just a bunch of kids table crap. You're not really doing deep dives and you're not really asking the questions that need to be asked. But I guess if you ask questions, and if you go against some of the things that he says, then you end up fired, like the guy over at MSNBC. So one person said this, and I think their name is Danny Collins, because that's the name at the bottom of the post that I have found. And I was like, oh, I need to post this on social media. So they said, let me be clear. I'm not a white Christian nationalist, sympathizer, or apologist. Don't tell me about your Christian love when Charlie Kirk was a voice you idolized. Charlie was a racist, homophobic, transphobic, misogynistic, xenophobic, hateful bigot. There is no hate like Christian love, and ain't that the damn truth? He was not a good person. No person is all good or bad, but he continued to spew hate, guys, as Christian love. I'm not grieving the death of Charlie Kirk. I'm grieving the current state of America. I'm grieving the politics of white supremacy having a stranglehold on our nation. I'm grieving the ignorance of white Christian nationalists not understanding how their rhetoric causes harm to marginalized communities. I'll continue to condemn violence while simultaneously calling out hateful bigots. I will never be a safe space for Nazis. I don't wish death upon any person, even Charlie Kirk. This isn't a time for celebration. This is a time for grieving. Please understand the way you grieve this and the way I do will likely be completely different. I'm grieving the ignorance of this nation. You are grieving the death of a Nazi. And not only that, but I totally agree with even when people are getting mad at people of color or black folks, where they're trying to tell you, oh, y'all shouldn't be grieving whatever the way, or you shouldn't be celebrating somebody's death. I'm like, this man didn't even, he wouldn't spit on me if I was on fire. So why am I going to sit and be all thoughts and prayers and this and the other? And then you get all these people on TV like Whoopi Goldberg and them with all the mess that she was saying. And I was like side-eyeing that mess. And I had sent a friend a post. I was like, because we saw what happened with the people at MSNBC yesterday. And I was just like, the ladies of the View are going to do whatever they can to save their jobs. They don't want to get fired like that ban over at MSNBC for calling out the fact that Charlie was a bigot who profited off of spreading hate and divisiveness. Where is that same energy for two Democratic politicians that were killed a few months ago? Where is that same energy for hundreds of thousands of Palestinian lives that have been taken so far? Charlie Kirk should not be treated as if he were Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. And y'all need to also realize, speaking of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, let's not act like this is the first time that we've had someone who has had polarizing views or people like a Martin Luther King or Malcolm X who wanted equality and freedom for everyone and justice, that they weren't taken out because our government or whatever the case is believes that no, we want to keep y'all thinking that you have the power, but we want to show y'all that we're the ones with the true power. And then I started doing deep dives into this whole thing with Charlie Kirk, and people think this is a professional hit, and I'm starting to actually believe that it was a professional hit too. First of all, they showed somebody that was on the roof. I thought the pow powing happened where the guy was like in close range and was on top of him. But then again, if that was the case, they would have been able to catch the perpetrator, which they thought they did twice, and apparently they didn't. But then I started doing deep dives and started really looking into some things, and they were saying that Charlie Kirk started a lot of. Why is all of this coming up now? Because he's gone off and spent years spewing a lot of hate and vitriol against marginalized people or anybody who wasn't like him, a white male. So why all of a sudden now is this happening? And from the deep dives and stuff, all the videos and things I was watching and some of the research and all other stuff, I think once he started questioning Israel and their motives is when they were like, oh no, we need to take this motherfucker out. Because why is it like not shortly after he died, Netanyahu was up with this long ass note that he posted on Twitter, sending out his condolences and things. I'm like, I don't trust nothing that man do. And I wouldn't be surprised if that whole plotation happened around the time he came to visit. And all this performativeness that's going on with that, because I came across this tweet from someone by the name of Harrison H. Smith. If I could pull that up. And one of the things said, wait, that's not even the right thing. Hold on. So there was this when he posted this. He said, I'm not going to name names, but I was told by someone close to Charlie Kirk that Charlie thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against them. So he's been very pro-Israel and stuff until recently when he started doing interviews. Well, I think he did a recent interview with Megyn Kelly, and then he's been talking with the other one that was Ben Shapiro. That I don't know how anybody could tolerate his nasally ass voice, but this was the real gag. Because let me close this out because I don't want to have to do it again and pull up the video where he started talking about it. And that was like, okay. And this came out in August when he mentioned this. We ain't gonna play the whole thing, but I just want y'all to hear just enough where he went in. Please hold.
I wanted to make a video at least to talk a little bit about my tweet that's gone completely viral from last month. It's now the number one tweet on anything Benjamin Netanyahu is posting. So thanks, guys. Really glad I'm on his radar now. That's cool. it's true. I mean, I don't really have too much to add to it, honestly. I'm not going to say who it was that told me because they've asked me not to, kind of for obvious reasons. So if they want to go public, they're more than welcome to. I don't have much to add to it other than basically like a month ago, I watched an interview with Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk, and I thought they looked scared, and I commented on that, made a video out of it. And then like a day or so later, I was talking to this person, and the way I remember the conversation going was that we were just talking about sort of Israel and Zionism and Zionist influencers, and Charlie Kirk came up, and I remember the other person saying to me, well, Charlie Kirk says he's afraid to go against Israel because he thinks they might kill him. And I said, that's crazy because I just made that video about how Charlie Kirk seems scared. That's crazy that you're saying that right now. And that's the way the conversation, I remember it going. It may have been the other way around. I may have said they look scared, and they said, well, he says he thinks, Israel will kill him for going against him. But then we talked about other stuff. We moved on. I don't really have any more information other than that. At the time I was thinking, Charlie Kirk seems scared he's going to lose his sponsors, lose, donors, something like that. I wasn't even thinking about losing his life. So that was my reaction. It was like, whoa.
Okay, so I think y'all pretty much got the gist there. But I was thinking that too. It's like, okay, if you go against, the establishment, it's like, okay, now you're gonna start losing money, you lose your sponsors, you lose all that stuff. Never in a million years you would think that, okay, now he would lose his life. And I think a lot of people would think that, well, but then when I started thinking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him because you don't realize how much of a chokehold that Charlie Kirk had on a lot of Gen Z. And so him losing sponsors and things, that's not enough. You can't just go and pop out a Charlie Kirk and bring in a new one. Like when you got that much power and influence, he could find other ways to still have a chokehold on those people. So I guess make him a martyr. But here's the thing: it's like regardless of like if it's a international, espionage type of situation, we just got to see if who's the perpetrator. Will they ever find the person that was pretty much, because if it's an assassination and if it was a hit job, then clearly somebody put up some money for this to happen in an open situation in Iowa of all places. But which I don't understand, like how. I mean, no, not Iowa, Utah. So what I don't understand is like with this happening there, does that mean that you're going to dispose the National Guard to these areas? Are you going to put them in the red states? Or is this a way for you to kind of push this authoritarian thing? Because, I think around, in the past couple of weeks, I've started noticing that we were starting to come together a little bit on both sides because of the whole Israel-Palestine thing. Republicans started finally being like, oh, it's a genocide. They're not approving of what is happening over in Israel. So do you think like, because other people on the other side, when you had Candace Owens and you had Marjorie Taylor Greene and you got all these other people that are speaking out finally on these things or really pushing against what's going on over there, does that mean that, oh no, we can't have them trying to change the narrative and really trying to flip people's minds over onto the other side and y'all come together? Because one of the things governments love to do is they want to keep us fighting as a distraction so they can go and steal whatever or do all the criminal activities that they've been doing. Particularly this administration has made it even more obvious. But at the end of the day, with this guy, it was like, look, he said a lot of disgusting things. I don't feel no ways tied about him being unalive because it's one less bigot we got to worry about. But this also, I think, on the flip side, it does put a target on other political commentators' backs where it's like you're trying to get the message out there and you're not shrouded in ignorance and bigotry. And that's the narrative that you go Fox News and they're oh, it's war. And it's all, they're trying to start this culture war amongst us with some of the little, code words and things that they try to say. And we just got to be above it and just try to keep an eye on the ball. But he wound up saying, he thought it was a huge mistake to pass a Civil Rights Act in 1964. He blamed Jewish money for ruining American culture. He said gay people are destructive and endorsed having them put to death. He said the Second Amendment is worth the cost of some gun deaths. And so when you going over and saying things like this, you can't be surprised that you say, oh yeah, we need to keep guns around because I mean, if people die at the hands of a gun, then it's worth it so that we would keep the Second Amendment. So how's that working out for you, sir? Because that's clearly what this is right now. And he also went on to say the deaths of women and children in Gaza are the fault of Hamas, not Israel, just like the deaths of Japan during World War II were the fault of Japan, not America. When a government engages in unprovoked murderous aggression, they are to blame for everything that results. And so he was just saying a lot of stuff, and a lot of people was living for it. But here's the thing: all this energy y'all putting towards this man, where was that same energy for that Minnesota congresswoman? What was her name? It was Melissa Hortman. She was assassinated a few months ago. And there was no national order. There was no lowering of flags. They didn't get a Medal of Freedom, which apparently that's the latest word that I saw in the major trades this morning that the president is going to be doing. Why are you giving people medals of anything when when he's contributed nothing but bigotry and hate and divisiveness? But because it fits the narrative, and the first thing out of Trump, oh, it's going to be a big audience and stuff. That's all he cares about. He cares about an audience. He's going to use this as a moment for him to stand up at a podium and make it seem like he cares about Charlie Kirk when he doesn't. And he's going to make this a whole spectacle that's about him because Trump doesn't care about nobody but himself. And the sooner y'all realize this, the better. But apparently, everybody, his side always got a damn excuse whenever he comes out and be exposed. Like nothing can touch him. That's why they call him Teflon Don. But anyway, let me get off my soapbox with this, Bez. I just wanted to address that in the beginning. I mean, in the beginning of the show, because it was like, yeah, there's people who feel like, there was a fear that if he was going against Israel, that they were going to take him out, and that could be probably why um he is not here, because all the other stuff that he was saying, all the bigotry, all the hatred, all the stuff that he was spewing, how does that get you pow-powed and taken out? There's so many other people that be saying like crazier things, but I think it's because of the amount of power and influence that he holds, especially over the younger generation, that's probably why. So I'll definitely be keeping myself abreast and y'all as of this story as it develops. But before I get to the main topic, let me see what some of y'all are saying in the room. And Umbria's in the room. Why did I change the blue background and it still did not do what I asked? Hold on. Because this damn thing be getting on my nerves. Like, I literally picked black. Why are we blue? No, not blue. Stop picking blue. It's black. I want black. And do I want that one? No, we'll go with that one. I was like, that was the regular thing. I gotta change things up as we doing the show. All right, so let me go back. JoJo got a reality check. She's not as famous as she thought she was. Well, we be getting to that show. I mean, that topic be when I saw the Zoom. Oh no. Oh, that's another thing too. I meant to bring up. So I was not planning on seeing the assassination because, and I know like places like Twitter and all that other will show it, right? Why the fuck I go on Instagram and that's the first goddamn video that pops up? Now, since when Instagram y'all allowed to show people dying? Like literally, he's having a question. I mean, I'm answering a question. Hold on, because I actually got exactly what he said, word for word, in here. Where the audience member asked him, "Do you know how many trans Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?" He said, "Too many." Audience member then asked, "The answer is 5." Well, I don't know if that's true, but okay. Now 5 is a lot. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America in the last 10 years, over the last 10 years? And he says, countering or not counting gang violence. So you sitting there trying to say, oh, it's the gangs and everybody, when it's like, no, it's mostly white males that are going around doing these mass shootings. That's the statistics. And actually, if you got eyes and you've been paying attention to the news and you be keeping track, you know that's the answer. And that's when he got pow in the neck. Now, I was not planning on watching that ever because I was watching a couple of videos and one person said, yeah, the one from the distance is not so bad, but when you see the up close one, bitch, let me tell you something. That was like something out of a horror movie. And horror movies can't even like duplicate that the stuff like getting shot in your neck and he's just going like this and like holding on to the mic and goes to talk all this blood is good. It's like, what the fuck? And so I was irritated that somebody had the unlitigated goal of posting it on Instagram because it's like I don't have control over that. If I'm on Twitter, I can make sure like I can maneuver and bob and weave through all that stuff because I don't follow that mess on there. But I do follow a lot of political stuff on Instagram because I'm always posting things and sharing it with people who are not aware of what's going on. And I'm surprised that Instagram is allowing the things to happen. But I guess Mark Zuckerberg busy over there licking Donald Trump taint at meetings and apologizing because he didn't know how they were going to finesse that little situation that they had the other day. Excuse me, the other day that he ain't been paying attention to them algorithms and stuff over there on Meta. I almost forgot what the hell it was called. And he said, "Who was the queen?" He who was this queen? He looked like somebody doing this. Okay. Well, that was the guy that I had mentioned. That said that he had heard from somebody that about the whole Charlie Kirk thing. But anyway, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if that some people are saying it's true. It's a hit job meant to pit both sides against each other and forget about the Epstein files. That's what I said. That man will do anything to take a distraction off of him. So that's what I feel like is happening. You said in another September 11th social media lows. Oh yeah, and today is 9/11, which I just get irritated from the overall disrespect that some people put out there for 9/11 because it's like where some people's like, well, where were you when 9/11 happened? I was like, I was supposed to be on my way to going into the city, and then the towers hit. I was sitting there watching TV like, what the fuck? So I know I wasn't going in. But and then I noticed like some people still share their stories. I lost a relative who was a police officer who was down there when the whole thing happened, but he wound up getting sick with cancer from the all the stuff that was down there, the debris and all that mess that was down there. A lot of people ended up getting sick. I don't know if he was ever financially compensated or maybe it just crept up on him, and then by the time the situation was what it was too late. So maybe he just went unaffected over the years. I need to dig into that and ask those questions. But um that's a time like it was a crazy time because it was like didn't Aaliyah die in August? Then we had 9/11, and then my grandmother passed away from cancer like a month later. So it was like so much happening within that time period. It was like August, September, and then I think she passed away in October, whatever. So it was just a messy time, and then I wasn't in the best place mentally because what was happening around that time. It was just a dark period right after 9/11 happened. But it was nice to see like a lot of New Yorkers come together, even if it was for a brief period, and people sending their condolences. And I remember one time when I worked in a hospital that I spent time on the phone with the woman, and we were just having a conversation and that whole thing, and it was comforting. They love to skew online rules. Okay, so it's always like working with that. Just like I'm hearing this mess about Warner Brothers getting bought up by Paramount. I'm like, didn't y'all just get with now you're trying to buy Warner Brothers? Didn't y'all just connect with Skydance? Now you're trying to buy some other stuff? I was like, no. And especially with the man who owns Skydance being a Trump supporter, it's like, nope, we good. We don't need y'all trying to buy Warner Brothers either. Warner Brothers been having a great year, giving us a diverse group of movies. We've had like a big diverse set of films that have come out. We don't need y'all putting y'all shit. We don't need Taylor Sheridan, just being the only one making stuff for Warner Brothers. Y'all got Paramount. Stick with that. And there's no shade to Taylor Sheridan. I actually like his stuff, but he seemed to be the only one that's pushing content over there on that network. Between Tulsa King and all the Yellowstone spinoffs and things that they have over there. But anyway, let's move on because we're 23 minutes into the show. We haven't gotten to the first topic. So let's get into topic number one. And let's talk about this Man of Tomorrow T, which is James Gunn, who's been still talking about a lot of stuff, and it's cool or whatever if he wants to continue to talk, but just don't pull on my leg and tell me it's raining, or piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. But anyway, so he went on Howard Stern show, which I know a lot of people were sitting here wondering, so was the Howard Stern show going away, whatever the case was? Apparently it was a prank. It's not going away. But so he was on vacation. It all worked out. The show's coming back. It's not going nowhere. Everybody can relax. But I know his people were panicking. But nevertheless, James Gunn went on Howard Stern and was talking about what we can expect from Man of Tomorrow. Because I told y'all before, when I heard about the story and I seen the pictures and all that other stuff, or picture, which would be this one, I had no idea what the plot and stuff was going to be. But now they're saying that Lex is going to play a bigger role in the sequel. So it's not necessarily going to be a straight up sequel to Superman. It's going to be, I guess, Superman and Lex kind of coming together to fight a much bigger threat. So the movie is supposed to come out in July 9th of 2027, which means they're going to start filming it in the fall. Well, no, not fall. I'm thinking they will probably start filming it spring-ish, like maybe March of 2026, I would think. So Superman introduces the DCU's Metropolis, the Daily Planet staff, and the Justice Gang. Lex Luthor served as the reboot's big bad, with the movie primarily revolving around their first encounter, which would be a Kaiju and Ultraman did all the heavy lifting as a physical threat to our heroes, while, Lex controlled them. And after nearly destroying the city, Lex is on his way to Belle Reve, but that will be far from the end of this storied rivalry on screen. In fact, his rematch with Clark Kent will play out sooner rather than expected, with 2027's Man of Tomorrow said to give Lex his iconic green and purple war suit. And I wonder because I'm wondering how is he going to get that war suit? I'm wondering because I was thinking that, the engineer didn't die. And I know the engineer is connected to the Authority, which, by the way, I think that the Authority, it's going to be a while before that comes out, because James says that they're putting it on pause for now because they haven't figured out how to crack the code and, I guess, bring it to the big screen. So um, I was wondering if the engineer was going to break him out and then give him the suit or whatever. It'd be interesting to see how he actually gets it. So, I mean, I know he's got the money to build something like that, but it'd be interesting to see how they bring all this together. So now, early promo art, as you saw in the picture that I have up for the Superman follow up, showed the Man of Steel fighting both with and against Lex. Filmmaker James Gunn confirmed that. Wait, I don't think that is the picture, because it said showed the Man of Steel fighting both with and against Lex. James Gunn has confirmed that Man of Tomorrow will revolve around these two teaming up to tackle much deadlier foe. Talking to Howard Stern earlier, I think it was yesterday when that came out, Gunn said it's a story about Lex Luthor and Superman having worked together to a certain degree against a much, much bigger threat. It's more complicated than that, but it's a big part of it. It's as much a Lex movie as it is a Superman movie. I loved working with Nicholas Hoult. I relate to the character of Lex, sadly, he continued. Yeah, you definitely sound like you would be more of a Lex Luthor. You would lean more Lex Luthor than Superman. It's just given off of James Gunn's personality. Um, I really wanted to create something extraordinary with the two of them. I just love the script so much. Well, of course you would say, I would love the script so much. You wrote it. So why would we be surprised that you would like a script that you wrote? Now, what is that much, much bigger threat? We have to, well, here's the thing. I know there have been some people that have their theories, and I think the most obvious, I think that it would be Brainiac, right? Like, we've already had Darkseid. Darkseid was in Man of Steel. Well, not Man of Steel, Batman v Superman. I don't think we need Darkseid again. Darkseid is kind of too similar to Thanos in a lot of ways. So I would rather somebody that be a much bigger bad. I would like to see Brainiac on the screen, especially when you're dealing with like technology and that sort of thing. And that would be somebody who's in the same wheelhouse as someone like a Lex Luthor. So I do agree, like, I would love to see Brainiac be the big bad, and that's something I hope that's who it is. But I guess we won't find out until the movie comes out, or until James tells us who it is. So then it says Superman being forced to enlist Lex's help should make for a fascinating dynamic on screen. And if we are getting Brainiac, then Supergirl, the next chapter in the Superman saga, is likely to lay the groundwork for that. Well, I hope so. The saga is set to be a four-parter, so if Brainiac and the bottle city of Kandor factor into Man of Tomorrow, the stage may be set for the finale that sees the harem-loving Kryptonians invade Earth. It's interesting that Man of Tomorrow is shooting it. Okay, they said April, as that means cameras will be rolling at the same time as the Batman Part 2. Unfortunately, the filmmaker DC Studios co-CEO remains adamant that Matt Reeves' franchise will remain Elseworlds, so don't bank on any surprise crossovers. Well, if that actually happens, then can y'all hurry up and figure out what the hell y'all gonna do with Batman and the Brave and the Bold and all that other stuff? Because I really don't understand if you don't have any plans to interlink Robert Pattinson into your Elseworlds Batverse, or that whole world that you're building now with Peacemaker and Superman and Supergirl and eventually Wonder Woman and Green Lantern or Lanterns, and that whole situation that you got going on over there. And I don't mind Matt Reeves doing what he's doing over on the opposite side. I don't mind having that whole real world aspect of what Batman is doing and that whole sort of thing. If you don't want to bring this Batman in, but if you're going to eventually bring in your own version of Batman, I do think y'all need to figure out where y'all going to go with that, where y'all plan on going with it, or is it that you have to wait until Matt Reeves is done with his world of Batman before you can move on and do your version of Batman, which you're saying is going to be the Brave and the Bold, and then we can get Damian Wayne and that sort of thing. Speaking of that, I heard there was like a new issue of the Red Hood that was canceled after one issue because the person who was behind that version of Red Hood said something about Charlie Kirk, and of course, with everybody doing their whole knee jerk reactions regarding talking about this guy, that everybody's losing their damn jobs. So, and Charlamagne said something good today too. And I'm wondering, like, is he going to be able to keep his job at the Breakfast Club? Because it seems like anybody that says anything about against a white supremacist, they end up losing their job, which kind of making us side eye a lot of you corporations. But anyway, so I guess that kind of fits in with this whole Man of Steel, because Lex Luthor was kind of like one of those corporate oligarchs that was kind of giving us Donald Trumpian tease with the way he was coming across with the plot of the first movie. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? I can say, well, it was nice that he gave us a little bit of an insight on what we can expect. The fact that they'll be joining forces, but in a way, it's still like, okay, here you are jerking us off again and not giving us like really nothing exciting or something to get excited over. I mean, this does sound relatively interesting, but I want to know a little more. Like, who is going to be this big bad that they're going up against? And I feel like James Gunn is getting off on teasing us and dropping little breadcrumbs here and there, and then we all just end up, okay, so we got a little, we're happy, and then a couple of weeks later he'll drop a little something else, and we're happy about it, and so on and so forth. It's like, just give it to us all at once. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. That sounds like a Steam Shell game or Stream Shell game. I don't think I'm familiar with the Stream Shell. The Tomorrowverse animated movie sucked. I don't even think I watched those. I mean, I've seen them, and you know, having HBO Max, I know they got all the tomorrow, like all the different, Justice Leagues and all the animated stuff, but I haven't gotten around to really watching a lot of them. I every now and again, if I get in the mood, I'll pop one on, but I haven't been watching a lot of them, lately. The authority is not moving forward. I'm kind of upset about that because we could use a little homosexuality in our superheroes. I mean, they kind of gay any damn way with them costumes. He said, let's start productions, more concept sharing. It does kind of feel like that, right? Like they're making it up. Kind of like what David Gordon Green did with his Halloween trilogy. Like, it definitely felt like y'all were like, you had the first one down pat. Like, you knew where you wanted to go with the first Halloween. But then when we got the Kills was kind of like the filler movie, and then we had Ends with Corey Cunningham, which I know people find divisive, but I actually like that movie because it feels like a solo Halloween movie that's not attached to the other Halloween movies. But if you promised us a trilogy, you need to give us a trilogy. But it kind of felt like y'all were just, as you say, making it up as they go along. But I'm talking about it for this movie. Both families of Turning Point have passed. Say what now? Oh, damn. Wait, was there another assassination I don't know about? You saying Bill Montgomery? Um, damn, they saying Kirk found it in 2012. Like, damn, he found that company early. Well, I was like, yeah, I'm not. Well, I'm not familiar with Bill unless he died years ago, and then you just tell me that because yeah, I'm not familiar with him. I think the one we mostly know about is Charlie Kirk because me being on YouTube. Uh, yeah, I was like, I'm not really familiar with Turning Point and who works and stuff over there. I just knew about Charlie Kirk because of all the videos that I see online and some of the debates that I've seen him do. And I will sit and I actually sit and watch a lot of some of the debates, and I just be sitting there and just cackling because them kids be gumming for him. And he just said they sounded dumb, especially like what he said about George Floyd, talking about that the knee on the neck is a regular police procedure. I'm like, in what precinct? Because as long as I've been around, I ain't never seen nobody put knees on necks and it'd be a regular procedure on how you arrest somebody. So that's a bunch of BS. Anyway, let's move on to our second topic and let's get into this Hannibal news. So, the creator of Hannibal, and I love that show when it was on NBC, but I feel like, you know what, that wasn't the right network for it. But at the time, we didn't really have streaming services and the cable stuff like we have to the extent that we have them now. So, it was, in a way, very revolutionary for a network like NBC to take on a show like Hannibal and for the stuff that they had on there, the visuals and stuff, which was really cool for them to get away with some of the stuff they got on that show, that surprised the hell out of me. So Brian Fuller, who created the TV Hannibal series, said that he basically there was, I guess, a fourth season of the show that we were supposed to get, and we never ended up getting it. Um, and I believe the fourth season was supposed to bring in because of the fourth season, if I'm not mistaken, was supposed to include Clarice because the other seasons was Will. But season 4, I'm trying to remember if the actor is still with Claire Danes. I don't know why I was thinking about his personal. But the fourth season was to include Clarice Starling because all the other previous seasons we had Will was going up against Hannibal Lecter and that sort of thing, which he does in the books and things. But then when it came down to the fourth season, they were going to bring in Clarice Starling. Now, of course, Zendaya could not have played this character back in the day when the show was on TV. I don't remember how far back the show. Oh, it was around 2013. It ran from 2013 to 2015, so it was like 3 seasons. But he said that the long overdue fourth season, he said my dream project is to do a limited series of Silence of the Lambs with Mads, and now of course that's Mads Mikkelsen. Which I want to say this: there is a movie, I think it's called um, excuse me, hold on, now I gotta look it up. Dust Bunny. I knew I was correct, but I was like, I need to double check. There was a trailer for, and I think Brian Fuller actually directed that movie. He does Bunny. Visually seeing those other stuff, I think he plays like an assassin who kills monsters under kids' beds or something or another. And when I saw like all the fantastical visuals and the fight sequences, and you see Sigourney Weaver shooting up people with a gun from uh, of her pumps that were literally guns. It's like, okay, this movie look bonkers, and I think I want to see it. And it comes out in December. So yeah, so he wanted to say, my dream project is to do a limited series of Silence of the Lambs with Mads and Zendaya as Clarice Starling. This is what he told Screen Rant. If I could put anything out in the universe, I will put that into the universe. Now, based on author Thomas Harris's Red Dragon, which came out in 1981, Hannibal, which came out in 1999, and Hannibal Rising, which came out in 2006. The series starred Hugh Dancy. I don't know why I can remember his name. Hugh Dancy is the actor who played Will Graham. So the first 3 seasons was basically about Will Graham. And if you read the earlier books, it was always about Will Graham before we get to the other book, which would be Clarice is in Silence of the Lambs. And Will Graham actually was the one who was hunting the serial killers. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, did they do a Will Graham movie with William Peterson from CSI? Because I remember seeing that movie, I think like a couple of months ago on Prime Video. And I was like, I ain't seen this movie in a long time. I forget what it's Manhunter, I think it's called. I ain't seen that movie in years. And I was like, oh, let me see this film. I haven't watched it, and it was good. It holds up. I think Michael Mann directed it. And you know Michael Mann is long-winded when it comes to his filmmaking. Like the movies go on for like 3 damn hours. Ask, if you ain't seen Heat, Heat is a long ass movie. It's a good movie, but it's a long one. But anyway, so then they said Mickelson told Deadline in 2023. He said there's always a chance he can reprise the role as Hannibal, adding it's all about finding a home for it. And I do think like we definitely need a revival of Hannibal. Look, they're reviving every damn thing else. Y'all reviving Dexter, you're reviving Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you're reviving a bunch of old IP movies. So why not, if there's an idea that you have and there's a new chance that people could discover something in a new time, because I always think like sometimes when it comes to certain movies, why certain shows or movies and things don't do so well is because they were before their time. And it's great that you could be groundbreaking and revolutionary and push those movies to be at a time when it's like, are we really ready for this? But I like the fact that you took the risk. And then we have a time now where I feel like people would be more open to a Hannibal reboot. I think it would be good on Netflix. But then again, Netflix get on my damn nerves where they just dump their shows on the channel without any kind of promotion, or they don't break it up. So maybe that might not be the greatest home for it. Maybe you can go to Prime Video or something like that. I don't know. They'll have to figure it out. But in regards of Zendaya, I actually think that it would be a good idea. It would be a good, interesting idea to bring in a mixed race Zendaya. I mean, not a mixed race Zendaya, a mixed race Clarice Starling, and kind of be like, okay, she's this FBI agent who is trying to prove herself with this case, but she's having to deal with things as a woman of color in the FBI, that sort of thing. So I feel like that adds a little extra layer to the situation where it kind of separates her from not trying to do what Jodie Foster did, ended up her winning the Oscar. So I would actually like to see Zendaya step in. And now I know some people probably don't think she would do it, but I feel like if it's a challenge, if it's something that's going to push her, because she's been slowly building her career to be beyond just that, you know, Disney type of chick or whatever. She's been doing things here and there where she did the Challengers, and we know her from the Spider-Man movies and all that stuff, where she does Euphoria, where she really pushes herself as an actor and a producer, and she's won multiple Emmys because of her role as Rue. So I definitely think that she has the ability and to push herself in that situation where she could pull that off. And if not, who do y'all think would be an interesting choice for to play Clarice? And in a if they were to move forward with this and we get the requel or whatever you want to call it, whatever they're called, reboot, requel, whatever. So, excuse me. I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts on this story. Would you like to see a Hannibal requel? Well, it would have to be a because it's been the long-awaited fourth season that he's been talking about bringing forth. So, I would definitely like to see them bring it on. And if not Zendaya, who do you think would be a good choice to come in and play the part? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Mom says, didn't South Park just yes, and they pulled the episode. I was like, damn. Yeah, I was just reading about that earlier. It was like, yep, they pulled it. He called it a badge of honor, and that was like last week or 2 weeks ago when he said that. Because South Park be stretching out their episodes. They don't even come on weekly. He said, I just saw they're doing. And yeah, they're doing a Scrubs reboot too, isn't it? With the Spanish chick, I forgot, Judy Reyes. I think they're bringing it with her. I always like Judy Reyes. Not on offense too, but I'm like, if there's an idea there, I'll definitely check it out because I like Brian Fuller's version of Hannibal, the series. And Gillian Anderson was on that too. Speaking of which, I'm looking forward to seeing her in this new Tron movie. I can't wait for the damn soundtrack. The soundtrack, I gotta wait one more week. And I think is it the 14th or the 15th? No, the 18th, I believe, is when Madonna's music turns 25. I'm like, damn. We getting old up in here. All right, now. So now let's move on to our final movie topic. Oh, I forgot to take that out. Take two. All right, so now let's move on to our next movie topic, and let's talk about one of the movies that I loved growing up, and it's called Bring It On. I'm sexy. I'm cute. I'm popular to boot. Hey, mention gray hair. The boys will love to stare. Remember that damn song? I used to love that cheer in the beginning of the movie. That would crack me up. How so hilarious that scene was. And then we had the jazz hands, the fingers, and all that other stuff. And then we had Elijah Dushku was up in it. It was such a funny, hilarious movie. Also, Gabrielle Union, we had the girls from Black. Damn, I forgot the other girl. One of the girl that played Love Fred, how she passed away. May she rest in peace. Sidebar: Black reminded me so much of TLC, but what made sense because I believe it was discovered by Left Eye. But anyway, so the people apparently, because they remaking everything. We just talked about remakes in the previous video. The people been saying, should they make a sequel to Bring It On? And I feel like if there's no story there, if there's no reason to bring on another Bring It On, don't do it. And we've had like a bunch of other Bring It Ons. They did one with Salons. They did one with what's that girl named Christina Milian? Like they've given so many of these little spin-offs. And my goddaughter, when she was little, I used to watch them damn shows all the damn time. It used to drive me crazy. But so we have enough of them to go along. They weren't as good as the first one, but in this case, I actually agree with what Kirsten Dunst said. She said no. And this is what she told Entertainment Tonight during a screening of Roofman, because she's in that movie with Channing Tatum, where he plays a criminal who is, I guess, escapes prison and goes hiding out in a Toys R Us. So I actually want to see that movie. It looks pretty. I'm like, from the trailers that I've seen, every time when I go to the movies and and I watch the coming attractions, which sidebar, I'm looking forward to seeing The Long Walk tomorrow. I'm actually gonna go see that tomorrow before I go to work. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing this movie because every time I see the trailers and stuff, I'm like, okay, this movie looks relatively interesting. I'm gonna definitely check it out. So when asked if she would be interested in being attached as a producer, she said, I don't need to put on a cheerleading outfit. I don't even know what I would do, be a coach or something. Leave it as it is. Now, Bring It On, as you know, was a teen comedy directed by Peyton Reed, which was released 25 years ago in 2000. Jesus. The film stars Dunst as Torrance Shipman, a high school cheerleader who becomes the captain of her squad as they prepare for a national competition. It also starred Eliza Dushku, Jesse Bradford, and Gabrielle Union. And let me tell you, I used to have the biggest crush on Jesse Bradford back in the day. Um, and not only that, but Gabrielle Union was that girl. And also, Eliza Dushku, she's retired. She's not even doing acting anymore. So she would not be, you couldn't even get the band back if you wanted to. It's like, yeah, she's officially retired. Like she's working in mental health type stuff. She just got her master's, I believe. So she's not interested. And plus, she's been burned by this industry so much. She's been SA'd twice. Um, once by a stunt coordinator, I believe, on the set of True Lies. She brought that up. And let's not forget about Michael Weatherly. Then that whole drama that went down between them when she was on Bull, which, funny enough, how they got him back on TV with that new show, Tony and Ziza, whatever the hell you call it, that's over on Paramount Plus. So yeah, Michael Weatherly back at work. Because I guess it's based off of his NCIS character. Well, they're both from that, so they gave them a little spin-off. I don't know if it's a hit yet or whatever the case is, but they just started airing the new season, or they premiered the show already. So if y'all are interested in watching it, be my guest. Let me know how it is, or don't, because I really don't care. But I'm just trying to be nice. But anyway, so it was a hit at the box office, and I remember because I went to the movies to see it, and we arrived. I think it was like a last minute thing. So it was like when I was a kid, it was me, my sister, my next door neighbor, Michelle, may she rest in peace, that's my goddaughter's mother, um, and a couple of others. We wound up bunching up in my neighbor's car, He drove us to the movies. I think it was the one that was in Forest Hills. And at the last minute, we just decided, okay, let's just go see Bring It On. I was pissed because the theater was already packed. So I had to like squeeze in and try to find space. And I think the movie just started when we got up in there. So, but when I finally sat down and watched the movie, I loved what I was seeing. But regardless, I mean, but besides that, it was a hit at the box office, and they said they released 6 direct-to-video sequels, like Bring It On Again in 2004, Bring It On All or Nothing in 2006, Bring It On In It to Win It in 2007, Bring It On Fight to the Finish in 2009, Bring It On Worldwide Cheer Snack, not that damn title, in 2017, and Bring It On Cheer or Die in 2022. And none of the sequels included any of the original cast members. Now they said Dunst's take on Bring It On sequel was a little different than when she was interviewed by ET in 2024. While promoting Civil War, she was asked if she would be interested in a follow-up, to which she said, I mean, it depends. Everyone bringing back their stuff, right? Adding that she would do it as long as it's not embarrassing. Well, things can happen in a year because like they said in 2024 she was singing a different tune, but this year she's like, oh no, I don't want to do it. Like, now that I think about it, it's like, what would I possibly be doing in there? Would I be like the coach or something, or is it that it would have to be about my kid who's trying to be a cheerleader and something happened similar to what happened in the other movie? Like, that'd be the only way to make the sequel. Have to be like a legacy requel of sorts where it's about her and her daughter or something or another. But I don't know if people would be for that. Or maybe they would for the nostalgia aspect, but I always say, don't just feed me nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. I need the script to actually be interested for me to even want to entertain the idea of watching the movie. Because I didn't see Freaky Friday. I grew up with the Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan, but I didn't see Freaky Friday because I was just like, okay, nostalgia porn, yay. But it just the trailer just looked stupid to me, and I just didn't think it story wise, it just looked dumb. It just looked like a dumb movie, and it looked like I wanted to spend time. And I think it feel like when you're a kid, you like things and you outgrow it when you get older. So I do like my nostalgia, but to a point. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Kirsten Dunst saying that she's not interested in a Bring It On sequel? And look, she's pretty much doing good without having to go backwards in what she's doing. Like, I like what she brought as an actor in Civil War. That movie, I went to the movies to see that in Dolby, and bitch, I got my life. It might have been IMAX where I saw it in, but it was like that movie was crazy. And I thought she did a good job in the film, and seeing her push herself beyond that stuff that she did when she was younger. And then recently the new movie with Channing Tatum, I definitely want to see that. So it looks like so far she's been making good choices regarding the type of movie she wants to make. So why even entertain the idea of doing a Bring It On? So yeah, and where the hell is Jesse Bradford? I haven't heard from him in years. Maybe he retired. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All these reboots, let's do good. No, not a good time. Wait, didn't do? Oh no, I'm thinking. No, I was thinking the Honeymooners. Remember they made a Black Honeymooners with Cedric the Entertainer. And it's like, no, we. Don't, I'm sick of all these damn reboots. I guess not at her age. She break exactly. She's like what? Kirsten got to be in her 40s about now. After Bring It On, they started doing so many cheerleader movies. My favorite of the cheerleader movies was Sugar and Spice. I don't think I ever seen that one, but yeah, you're right. They started doing all these cheerleader reboots, bringing on the moms. You see, Channing Tatum is a yacht boy for rich old quick. Is he? Because word on the curb was the yacht boy was Zac Efron. I've been seeing a lot of those videos where they say he's a yacht boy, and they talk about Michelle Rodriguez is a yacht girl, which would make sense because she don't never act outside of doing the Fast and the Furious movies. The last movie I feel like I seen Michelle Rodriguez, and I'm like, she must really be good at saving up her money, because the last movie I seen her in was that Dungeons and Dragons movie, which was actually pretty good. I liked that film. I was mad that it didn't really do well at the box office, but I liked it. But Channing Tatum is a yacht boy. I mean, If that is true, I would not be surprised. I mean, he still looks good, but I think he said he injured himself while he was filming for Avengers Doomsday, because he is back as oh my god, what is the name of the character he's playing? Why is Venom in my brain? I'm like, he is not Venom. That's Tom Hardy. Um Remy LeBeau. What's his character, the Gambit? Damn, why I couldn't come to my head soon enough. Speaking of injuries, did y'all hear Henry Cavill got injured while he was preparing to, training for Highlander? So now they had to push that movie to 2026. I'm like, God damn, what is going on? Hopefully you'll still be able to hold on to the same actors. Oh yeah, that's in Lauren. She probably is like around 45, 46. They did do an animated version of Good Time. Sugar and Spice has been a Safari and J. I probably am familiar with that movie, but I just didn't know about the name. The last one wasn't bad. The other one that they came out with years before, that one was trash. The one that came out, I think it was in like 2014 or something, another 2014, 2015. But the one that recently came out, like maybe 2 years ago with Chris Pine and the dude from Bridgerton, I actually like that one. Oh, excuse me. Marlon Wayans was in Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, he must have been. I never watched that last one. I did see bits and pieces because that was around the time when I was working at AMC, and I was like, "This movie looks stupid." I didn't mind the whole comedy aspect they brought in there, and then it kind of had like that Lord of the Rings things. Yes, he does need better material, and I like Chris Pine. I think that's an action movie that he's supposed to be doing. That's supposed to be coming out. I can't remember the name of it, but when I read the concept, it did sound pretty interesting. I mean, interesting. Oh, okay. Well, I was like, yeah, I didn't see that one. I see bits, like I said, I seen bits and pieces. I never sat and fully watched that one, but I seen bits and pieces. All right, y'all. So now let's move on with the rest of the show. And let's talk about Britney Spears. So the other day we talked about Britney and how, family members and things of that nature, they were all worried about her because she been doing, they're saying she having an episode, that she's been uh dancing around the house, doing all kinds of other stuff. The house is filthy, there's dog poop everywhere. She does a cleanup behind herself, and Britney's having an episode, according to them. So now Britney took to social media to clap back at y'all for making fun of her house. And by y'all, I mean me. I wasn't necessarily making fun of her. I was just saying, girl, your house is a mess. And I can't with clutter. I can't with poop all over the place. Like, that's gross. And dog poop stinks. Well, shit stinks regardless. It don't matter who ass it comes from. So she said, shame on those of you, shame on those who judge my home in my pajamas. Nobody care about you in your damn pajamas. And in a typical Spears form, they said that she diverted the message to an unrelated topic, commenting on a photo of Justin Bieber and his son Jack as she shared alongside her post. She said, "I'm in love with this picture. So beautiful." Sidebar: speaking of Justin Bieber, did y'all see that boy running around on a scooter in his tidy whities? I'm like, Justin, what is going on with you? Don't tell me you got the Britney Spears disease too, that you run around here losing what's left of your mind. Now they said the Grammy winner spoke out after the video she shared last month resurfaced online. The original clip posted on IG on August 18th featured Spears singing while she set up a ring light. One of her dogs could be seen walking in the background near her living room, and poop was on the floor. The Piece of Me singer informed her followers at the time, though, that she was in the middle of cleaning her house like no tomorrow. Despite Spears trying to quiet the noise, people around her are reportedly concerned for her. An insider recently told the Daily Mail that the toxic singer, who has a history of mental health issues and has spent time in a mental health facility, or facilities, I should say, was having an episode. saying her house is a mess. Another person added, she doesn't clean up after the dog. She doesn't have someone there cleaning every day, and she just isn't functioning like an adult would function. The source told the outlet that loved ones are hesitant to intervene, saying that we are going to see her battle through it in ways she has for years. Those close to her have been this over and over again, and though it is monitored, they aren't going to make any type of intervention. Because it's like, I guess they feel like that if they do intervene, she's gonna pull away. They don't know what to do. They're just like, okay, just let Britney rock. Let her do what she's gonna do, and it is what it is. She'll come out of it on the other side eventually. But I guess as long as she's not harming herself or others, then I guess we do let her rock. But, ma'am, I understand like you feel like you need to defend your home and all the other stuff, and you should. But if you're gonna be putting stuff on camera, don't. And I know it's like hard to do for some people, but I don't know. I'm a hypochondriac when it comes to certain things. If I'm gonna go on camera, I be gotta make sure. Like with this, I got the background on other stuff. But when I do like regular videos or whatever, if it's with my phone or whatever the case is, I always want to make sure like I'm in an area that's not messy, the wall don't look crazy, there's no trash in the background, there's no dog poo on the floor. Because I know how people are. They will find any little thing to get on social media and critique you over and call you out on or make comments about. They nitpick about every little thing, acting like they shit don't stink in their house ain't a damn mess. But they want to call you out and nitpick on every little thing. So you just got to be mindful of that. But Britney is just, I guess, she's one of those girls that she don't care. She gonna do what she gonna do when she want to do it, and opinions be damned. And if y'all say something, she gonna get on the line and cut you or talk about Justin Bieber and his son picture that she liked. So I guess, all I gotta say on this is God bless this child, because Britney gonna do Britney things. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Britney saying that she don't appreciate y'all calling her house a mess and saying that, ma'am, where is the pooper scooper? Like, where is the doggy bags to pick up that mess in the background? Like earlier, I was in the kitchen cooking and my dog went and pooped on the floor and I was pissed. Luckily, I ain't stepping it. And so I had to go get the little baggie and pick it up and then throw it out and all that other stuff. So you always got to be mindful and aware of what's going on because the dogs. You try to train them to go on the mats or whatever, and they just do whatever the hell they want. Well, the rebellious one, that would be my dog Prince, who literally looks like Crypto. I told y'all. So the way he be acting, I was like, you will literally when he gets on my nerve, now I call him Crypto because I got a name for him because it describes very much descriptive of the dog from that movie is how he is. He just doesn't listen. Try training him, tell him to do whatever. He does whatever the hell he wants. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Well, maybe that's the only room in a house that she feels like has good lighting, but that is true. She don't never film no other part of the house. Like you got a mansion, but that's the only part of the house you always filming in. That's what I said. And it's like if you say anything, and we discussed that before, like if you say anything critical, the first thing people want to do is call you out and drag you. And you get the hardcore Britney Spears fans who are in their little Delulu land and they go and start saying their stuff. And that's what I think a lot of people who aren't prepared to deal with the tsunami of bullying and hate on social media, they're gonna get into a place where it's like, I'm not even gonna address it. I'm not gonna really go out there and try to push because then Brittany may try to play the victim, or y'all gonna intervene. I was gonna say interfere, but last second I changed my mind. And y'all then y'all gonna intervene, and y'all don't know all the what's going on behind the scenes because it's not on camera. We haven't told y'all, and because you like Britney Spears, you're gonna automatically take her side because you're thinking Britney Spears, the pop star for the '90s and 2000s, versus the Britney Spears of 2025 that y'all don't know. So it's like a lose-lose situation. No, I probably did. Well, look, there've been so many exposés and dispositions and videos about Britney. I probably have seen it, but if it's recent, no. But if it was like an old one, then I'm sure I have seen it. It's one chromosome away from being. You know what? All right, y'all. So now let's move on, y'all. Let's go, Miss Jennifer Lopez, who is basically talking about. Well, she recently did a screening for Kiss of the Spider Woman, which comes out in October. I think October 10th. And so they dropped one of the songs from the soundtrack from the upcoming film version. And during a Q&A, while she was there, she got a standing ovation, all that other stuff. But did y'all know that, and before we get to the rest of the thing, that she actually auditioned back in the 90s to play Ava Perón in Evita? And we already know Madonna ended up getting the damn part. But she spilled the tea. First of all, I didn't like the outfit she had on. It literally looked like it was swallowing her up, but I guess that was supposed to be the whole point of the look. But I actually have that clip. Let me pull that up for y'all so y'all can see it. And shout out to Mark Malkin who actually have the footage. So we'll play that clip and we'll come back and talk. So
I remember auditioning for Evita when that happened. Yeah. Yeah, I went into audition for Evita and for Alan Parker. And I was practicing for weeks and sing my heart out and did my thing. And he goes, "You're amazing. You know Madonna has the part, right?" I said, "Okay, bye-bye. Nice to meet you." Yeah, so yeah, this is the first time, and it couldn't have been a better one for me. I don't think I was really, really glad to be able to do it and step into Cheetah Rivera's shoes and Sonia Braga and everybody who kind of did this role before me.
And honestly, I actually think that this is the role that she was definitely born to play. I know that she could I see her as Evita? Possibly. I mean, she was young, probably a little too young for that part. I think at the time, Madonna was she is a well-seasoned performer. Madonna was well into her 40s when she played that part. And I think that, you know what, no shade, but I feel like Madonna was more fit to play that role in the Evita movie. That was one of the best roles that she ever played. I mean, she's had good parts here and there, but as far as like carrying a movie and then the song, and there was the one movie that, yeah, she finally took voice lessons. She started taking better care of her voice. You started to show that yes, Madonna could actually sing instead of trying to damage her vocals or whatever the case was, because she wasn't really out here taking care of her voice like regular singers do until she had to go and do the training. And if you're going to do theater type stuff and you're going to do a theatrical version of a Broadway situation, then it's like, yeah, you got to go through the training of the dancing and the singing and stuff. And Madonna has dancing down pack, and yeah, she's the big pop star or whatever, but that movie changed the way that she actually approached music and singing as an artist. Same thing with Innova, where I think that Kiss of the Spider Woman is definitely the role she was born to play. I don't know if I could see anybody outside of Madonna playing Evita. And I think like, yeah, Jayla wasn't ready. So it's funny how like she went in, and it's also, let's not forget, didn't Jennifer get caught out there and talking about Madonna can't act and all this other stuff? Remember when she went on her little tirade back in the day when she went after Madonna, she went after Gwyneth Paltrow, she went after a bunch of other people when they was asking uh her Jennifer her opinion on other actors and things in the business. So um I actually think this is the right role because based off the trailer and the things that I've seen, I'm like, this actually looks like a good performance, and I'm liking a lot of the visuals and things that I'm seeing up in there. I never actually, well, obviously, I never saw the one with Cheetah Rivera. I don't even know when that one came out. Um, but the movie with Sonia Braga and William Hurt. I never got around to seeing that one either. Because a friend of mine asked me the other day, "Have you ever seen the original one?" I was like, "No, I never really." I mean, I knew it existed, and Raul Julia was in it too, but he rest in peace. But yeah, I never had the opportunity to actually sit and watch it. But I definitely want to get around. If hopefully, if any of the streaming services has it and decides to put it up on the streaming service before, this movie comes out, I will definitely watch the original. So, for those of you who are not familiar with what the movie is about, Hannibal plays Ingrid Luna, a movie star whose most famous role is that of a Spider Woman capable of killing her lovers with a kiss. In 1981, during Argentina's Dirty War, homosexual department store widow dresser Luis Molina, played by, and I don't know how to say this boy name, is it Tonatia? Because it says Tonatiuh. It's like, if you're going to have these weird ass names, at least let me know how you pronounce it. Is it Tonatia? Is it Tonatia? Is it Tonquisha? It's like, what is it? But anyway, so they said he's serving a prison sentence. Imagines her, we'll just call him Mr. T. Imagines her films to escape the horrors of his present day. He and political activist Valentin Arregui, played by Diego Luna, become unlikely friends as they are forced to share a cell together. Now, Lopez said that she had been dreaming of starring in a musical since she was a child after watching West Side Story on television in her family's little home in the Bronx. She previously recalled also auditioning for musical movies Chicago and Nine. In 2016, she was announced to star in a NBC live production of Bye Bye Birdie, but the project was eventually scrapped. Yeah, I remember hearing about that, and I totally forgot about Bye Bye Birdie because I do remember that there was supposed to be um a whole movie around it, that they were supposed to bring Bye Bye Birdie. Remember when they were doing like the movie musical thingy, like with hairspray and all other stuff? They would bring that to NBC. And so I remember they were supposed to do that, but yeah, it didn't happen. But I had no idea she auditioned for Chicago. It must have been for the Catherine Zeta-Jones part. Now, Lopez recalled Condon, who also adapted the script for the film, telling her that the elaborate musical numbers in case of a Spider Woman would be filmed in one take. And she was like, I was like, we'll do some coverage. She was like, I mean, she said, he was like, nope, no coverage. I was like, fuck me, I better get it right then. Like halfway through the take, it's going differently, and then you trip on your dress or whatever. So it's like, maybe we start over. It was challenging. It was challenging in that way, time wise, as independent films could be, right? It's the time, it's the prep, it's the, budget. All of it was constraints for us. But we put our heart and soul into it. We rehearsed like crazy for the time that we had, and it was a beautiful thing. And again, I'm living my childhood dreams. So they said Mr. T introduced the screening before heading to the airport to hop on a plane back to New York for another work commitment. So that's funny. So it was like you literally just came in there, you introduced the screening, and then you jumped on a plane because you have another job. And yeah, so they said that she got a standing ovation when she came on stage for the Q&A, and that's when So as I said, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this movie. Mr. T basically had lots of praise about Hannibal, and they said that during the Wednesday Q&A, Condon said that he and the casting department looked at around 800 people before choosing Mr. T. Now, after the screening, Lopez attended a reception at Chateau Marmont, and the film is produced by Lionsgate Roadshow Attractions and LD Entertainment. It comes out on October 10th. And I think, even though I'm not a really big fan of like musicals and things, this one definitely has caught my eye. It always depends on the type of musical. Because I will say I wasn't really all that for Wicked either. But after I watched Wicked, I was like, okay, it wasn't bad. Like I didn't mind it. I might actually go see Wicked for good in the theater because I did like the first one. So I'll go see that. I'll go see Kiss of the Spider Woman, and I'm sure maybe this will be the role that'll finally get Hannibal the Oscar nomination. Because remember, she was supposed to be up for. She was thinking that they were going to nominate me for Hustlers, and she was good in that movie, but she got pretty much ignored. So maybe she'll get it for this film. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Jennifer Lopez in this Kiss of the Spider Woman movie? Are you looking forward to seeing it? Have you seen the original and did you see the Broadway edition with Cheetah Rivera? What are your thoughts on all of this? So I definitely want to hear from you. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Miss Hannaford can't sing, so I don't know how she got this. Well, here's the thing. She can get in the studio, sing all the songs. They'll put their little magic on it. And what'll happen is when you're doing the whole movie or whatever, as long as you know the words, how to lip sync along and the dancing and everything, and with all the rehearsals and everything, that's what you have to do. They're not like they're really singing the songs live as they're filming. So, did you? And it's funny how I was reading an article where they were saying, or somebody posted something, but I guess you can't believe obviously you can't believe everything you read. But they were saying something or another that Ariana was about all the tickets gonna be equal prices, that sort of thing. And I was side-eyed. I'm like, child, no, they not. There's no way you're gonna be able to have them be equal, like all like everybody play the same price, whatever the case is. Especially when you're doing a small little stint with like 25 or something more live performances. Like you're not doing a lot of dates on this tour. And no shade, I'm kind of glad that she's doing the Barclays Center versus the Garden because I think we got a lot of bookings. I don't even know if her days collide with Lady Gaga's, but um, I'm glad she's doing Brooklyn. Just like, girl, you can go over there. Crystal said she saw something with scalpers with charging. Shit, you done lost your damn mind. And then you know what? That's the that's the problem. The problem is these freaking scalpers that are taking advantage of they're taking advantage of a lot of the fans, and it's like they just want to go to the show and have a good time and all this good stuff. And you got these greedy behind um scalpers that are charging OD prices. Like, like you got to be out your damn mind. $1 million. Anyway, let's move on and let's get back into the show. So let's talk about Cardi B and Offset. So Offset, I believe, is out. I think he did a recent interview with TMZ. Cardi has a new album that's supposed to be coming out, I think, next week. And Offset has a new album out. It came out, I think, in August. And basically, what he's saying is he want peace in the Middle East. He don't want to be fighting out here with Cardi. Well, look, just keep her name out your mouth and mind your business and do what you're doing. You stay over there. She stay over there. Y'all come together cordially and work out whatever you need to work out and leave it there. Don't get on social media with your subliminals and trying to make fun of her, whatever, because Cardi don't let nothing go. So yeah, he said that he just wants peace for their family and for us to win. He added in the comments to TMZ on Tuesday, said, "We got kids to take care of." The Swing My Way rapper also said for sure he'll support the release of Bodak Yellow Hitmaker's forthcoming album. And actually, what am I talking about? The album comes out tomorrow. I thought it was coming out next week. Shit. Well, I got an album to listen to on my way to work tomorrow in the movies. The former couple shares daughter's Culture. Kiari, who's 7. Well, Kiari is funny, is the name of his new album. Who's 7, and Blossom Bell 1, and Sunwave Set, who's 4. A rep for Cardi did not immediately return Page Six's request for comment, though the money songstress was less generous when asked if she envisioned a lasting friendship with her former husband. She said, "I tried." And this is what she told Billboard for a September 3rd cover story, abruptly adding, "Next question." She also blasted Offset via Twitter Spaces in June for being an alleged deadbeat father, saying he left her with the kids' bills for a whole year straight amid their split. In the post, she detailed their kids' staggering expenses, which include 24-hour security, extracurricular activities, private schools, and a nanny. "Kiari, have I asked you for anything?" Why do I feel like that's giving me Sophia? Well, no, not Sophia. Seeley going in on Mister. "I asked you for anything. I ain't asked you for nothing. Not even your sorry ass hand in marriage." That's what I felt like. She was about to go on that whole rant. But she called him out his government. She said, "Kiari, have I asked you for anything? You want spousal support so bad." And mind you, this is not even including food. My kids have a personal chef that comes from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. that I pay for because people in my house don't have time to cook. Cardi B was 37, filed for divorce from her rapper husband, 33, in July of 2024. Her rep confirmed to Page Six at the time, though her representative declined to provide additional details. A source told us the mom of three's primary objective was obtaining primary custody amid the high-profile split. And my thing is this: if you leaving me stuck with the bill, and I'm ended up having to take care of our kids while you running the streets with whichever hoe you want to be running the streets with and doing your music thing or being a serving community dick to whoever, if that's what you want to do, then you go ahead and do it. But when now that in this whole situation where I got three kids and allegedly a fourth one on the way, then you don't deserve to have full custody of these kids, because I'm the one who's shelling out hundreds of thousands of dollars to take care of all these damn children. So it's funny how he says on social media, I just want peace. I don't want no drama. I don't want to deal with any of the crazy whatever. But then your actions say something different. It's kind of like what I was saying before. You went on one show and was behaving one way, and then you went on Joe Budden's podcast because you was around a bunch of bum ass simps. You was up in there trying to be cute at the expense of Cardi because you're around a bunch of men and one girl. And Melissa's outnumbered. So she's just gonna go along to get along. And she'll throw in her little something, something. But when you're the minority in the room, you can't be out here windmilling against all these boys by yourself. Which is why I don't like that whole idea surrounding like that you got like a lot of these panel shows is always a bunch of dudes and one girl. That's why, in a way, even though I don't particularly care for the Breakfast Club, I like the idea that they've evened it out. It's two guys, two girls. Let Jess HElarious just sit there and be dumb, because that's what she is, an idiot. And then you got Lauren LaRosa, who gives you the tea and all the information, because she is the research girl. She's the one that understands all the legalities and how to present a damn story, and she knows how to read. So it's always good to have her there. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Offset had to say about his relationship with Cardi? Do you actually believe him that he wants, peace? Maybe he wants the kind of peace that Teresa Giudice is always talking about that she wants. But then you be always the perpetrator of the mess. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right. Hold on. Oop. All right, so let's get to our next topic, and let's talk about Charlie Sheen, who is addressing those long-standing rumors that he allegedly sexually abused 80s teen idol Corey Haim back when they filmed the movie Lucas. Now, this was a story, remember when we was talking about that the other day about Charlie Sheen and the whole him spilling tea about his sexcapades with men, which I'm like, I was not surprised when I heard the news that he had same-sex relationships, because it's like Hollywood is a lot of drugs flowing, a lot of temptation, a lot of different things. And the men be doing all kinds of stuff out there. I know there'd be like certain people that like to shame you in it, but if you fluid, let your freak flag fly. I'm not going to judge you on that. But if you out here allegedly S-ing underage children, then no, that's a problem. But I forgot to mention the how this rumor started is because Corey Feldman, the big time actor, was the one who actually spilled this tea back in the day, which I find it interesting because of the documentary which came out. I think it came out yesterday. So he finally addressed it. So the shocking allegations first surfaced in 2017 when Corey Feldman alleged that Haim told him Sheen had assaulted him during the filming of Lucas in 1986. Charlie Sheen is setting the record straight in his new Netflix documentary, aka Charlie Sheen, particularly when it comes to the SA allegations made against him by Corey Feldman on behalf of the late actor Corey Haim. In the doc, which hit the streamer on Wednesday, the 59-year-old actor flat out rejected the claims, calling them absolute fucking bullshit. His words, not mine. He said, should have taken legal action against Feldman, Sheen said in the two-part doc, but I didn't feel like giving that clown that much more credit. We were friends back in the day, or so I thought. It's a piece of vile fiction. The guy's mom came out and said, this is impossible. The shocking allegations first surfaced in 2017 when Feldman alleged Haim told him Sheen had assaulted him. Sheen, who also released a memoir titled The Book of Sheen, makes it clear in the documentary that he won't let the accusations define him. He said it's vile, it's damaging, and it's not who I am. Now, while the doc covers the gamut of Sheen's up and downs, including his infamous Tiger Blood years, struggles with addiction, HIV diagnosis, and even admitting he once shoved an ice cube up his butt to stay awake during filming, Sheen maintained that this particular claim is the one he won't let stand, saying people think of me as a concept, as a moment in time, but I'm a person, and this never happened. So I just want to come on here and let you guys know that, according to him, these accusations that he was accused of, and this has been something that has gone around for years, even what a lot of us thinking that, and people even on social media still believe it and have been running with this rumor. And when you never address something like this, of course people are going to run around with it, kind of like the old Richard Gere gerbil rumor that has always been going around for decades. So I like the fact that he finally addresses that. If it actually happened, this the only person that could really address this on whether or not it actually happened isn't here anymore. Corey Haim is dead from a drug overdose. He had a lifelong struggles of drug addiction. I do believe that he and Corey Feldman were sexually abused, but if Corey Haim is not here to tell his story and to say that this is what actually happened to him, because it's basically Corey Feldman's word against Charlie Sheen. And the person who this happened to, like I said, isn't here. So I guess at this point, all we could do is take Charlie's word for it because he's speaking out on it. He's saying it didn't happen. Corey's mother says it didn't happen, but Corey Feldman saying it did happen. But Corey, if you weren't there to witness it, you're going by what your friend allegedly told you. I don't know if that's a word that's bond that we should be believing. But like I said, if Charlie's speaking out on it and he said it didn't happen, I guess we're just gonna have to believe him for the time being. So I say, so we can finally put this rumor to rest. I say, oh, this is say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Charlie Sheen says that it was like, nope, I didn't do it. Like I'm guilty of many of things, but sexually abusing a younger actor on the set of a movie that we were in together didn't happen. And if Charlie Sheen, because here's the thing, abusers don't just abuse one person and that's it. If Charlie Sheen actually went around doing it to Corey Haim, I'm sure he's done it to many other younger actors in the industry. How come they haven't come forward? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I watched the second part of the documentary. He said he was hurt by what Corey Feldman said, and Corey Haim's mom stood up for Charlie. And that's why I said if Corey Haim's mother, does she appear in the documentary? If she appears in the documentary and said this didn't happen, then I'm taking Corey Haim's mother for it. I mean, word for it. All right, y'all. Mm. All right, then we go by this show quick today. We got about 4 more topics left until the end of the show. So before we get to those final 4, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode. Excuse me, of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. After the show, I'll be putting in the timestamps so that way you can go in the description if you don't want to sit through all the live stream banter that we do. Go to the description, click on the timer, whichever topic you're into wanting to check out, unless you want to see, wait until I cut it up and edit, put the show up, and then you can just, take it from there. So please and thank you. Now, without further ado, we got some more Sheen news. And by Sheen, we're going to go by Papa Sheen, a.k.a. Ramon Estevez, a.k.a. Martin Sheen. Yeah, his real name is Ramon. And it was funny because a friend of mine was like, I had no idea that Charlie Sheen's real name was Carlos Estevez. I'm like, where have y'all been? It's like, yes, they're Latino, number one. And number two, back in the day, Martin Sheen, whose government name is Ramon, he changed his name. I guess because, they want them to be too ethnic. You're white appearing. Which is why I find it funny when you look at Denise Richards' kids and you got Sammy going by Sammy Sheen. I'm like, child, that ain't your daddy real last name. But I don't know if they like it's a stage name or if it's like when you look at his actual ID or social security, whatever, like it says Carlos Estevez on it, unless they actually went through the proper channel and changed their names so that way they could blend in because they're white appearing. So yeah, there's that. So I guess Joy Behar ended up seeing the Charlie Sheen documentary, and um, Joy Behar from The View gave her take on the situation and was mad at um, Martin for reporting his son who was on them drugs back in the day. So shout out to Entertainment Weekly for this story. So the View calls Joy Behar's instincts as an Italian American mama bear led her to lash out at Hollywood actor Martin Sheen over his handling of son Charlie Sheen's past substance addiction. On the day of Netflix, aka Charlie Sheen docuseries release, the talk show stars reacted to 60-year-old Charlie's recent interviews. Didn't they say he was like in his 50s, now he's 60? Recent interview with ABC News' Michael Strahan, during which the star reflected on his dad turning him into authorities for violating his probation following a 1998 OD. The View played footage from the interview, which also shows Martin, who's 85, telling reporters that my son was admitted yesterday as the result of a drug overdose, while Strahan asked Charlie how he felt about his dad's actions. He said, "I felt like it felt like the biggest betrayal you could possibly endure," adding that he saw it as love eventually, but in the moment, it didn't feel like it. Now, back on The View, moderator Whoopi Goldberg asked her fellow panelists if they think of Martin's actions as betrayal, with Behar immediately replying with a yes, while conservative host Alyssa Farah Griffin said, "Absolutely not." She said, "It's called The View. In my view, as an Italian mother, is you do not turn your children in, especially if they have a drug problem or mental health problem. You send them to a shrink or hospital," the 82-year-old told Griffin. "You don't call the police. Martin Sheen made a big mistake. Your child is suffering. They have an illness. You do not send them to the police. Sorry." Griffin explained her stance, citing her sister as a recovering addict who's been 12 years clean as the foundation of her opinion. Saying the most loving thing a parent can do is tough love to get you off the streets and the help that you need. You're in danger. You're a danger to yourself. While, which is what Griffin said. While Behar asked, "How do you get the help that you need in jail?" Well, I think also maybe the reason how that happens is that the tough love comes from getting locked up in prison. We're not saying that that was the first result, because I don't think that was the first result that Martin decided to come up with. I think him locking his son up, getting him arrested for the OD, was a last resort. Was the fact that I'm tired of you out here doing these drugs. I've been trying to get you the help you need. You've been clean 1 minute, then you relapse, and you get better, then you relapse. And it's just like, we've been doing everything we can to try to help you. You don't want to get on the up and up. And so this is the tough love I'm going to have to give you. You violated your probation. I'm tired of having to clean up your mess. And now I'm going to call the cops. So, in a way, while I don't agree with her often, I'm Team Alyssa on this, where it's just like, I'm going to help you to the best of my ability. But if there's nothing else that I could do and I'm at my wit's end, then yeah, I feel like jail is going to be the thing that's going to get you clean, and get you sober, wake your ass up because you need a detox. So put you in, get you there, and then when you get out, we'll figure out what we need to do to get you on the right path to getting clean and sober. Which clearly, after he violated the probation and everything, and his father reported him, it didn't work because Charlie was still out here going on drug binges and, ooh, excuse me, and the prostitutes and all that other stuff. So I get it that you want to, you don't, snitches get stitches. That's the way it's like she's coming from, where you can't trust the police in this type of situation. But what do you do when you feel helpless? Now, There should be no shocker. Sarah Haynes backed up Griffin's stance, telling Behar, I think sometimes parents bury the bodies, don't turn the kid in, and enable their child. And while Behar joked, that's not what I said. Haynes continued, when you enable a child for decades, you are part of the opinion of the problem that ends up living in your house, excuse me, incapable of employment, not being able to support a family or see a life that you wanted for that kid because you helped do it. So normally I'd be all for like Sarah, but Sarah always got her lips attached to Alyssa ass on every subject. Like like she the damn part of the human centipede. Now, legal expert Sunny Hostin, of course, took Behar's side because she's Miss Uppity, citing the Sheen family's monetary resources as a means to get your kid into a hospital instead of to police, a point that Goldberg audibly sighed at. Because it's like, now you think, oh, because I'm rich and I got money, that all of a sudden I automatically have the resources to get my child into whatever he is. When you are under the throes of addiction or whatever the case is, don't know money don't mean ish when it comes to that situation. I mean, yeah, you have the ability where you can afford the rehabs and things without having to necessarily need insurance. But no, I don't agree with that. But Whoopi said this. She said, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to shut this down right now, frustratedly waving her arms as the audience gasped. Because if you don't think they did everything, when I tell you they did everything to get him straight, this was the last straw because there was nothing left. And what they didn't want, and thank God it didn't happen, is they didn't want him to die on the street. So that's why that went down. Every family has to handle this differently because every addiction is different. And Whoopi, I'm going to listen to Whoopi because Whoopi knows the Sheens. Whoopi is Hollywood royalty. Whoopi knows a lot of the legends and stuff in Hollywood. So you don't think that she's aware of what was going on with Charlie and how they did everything. And that's what I was saying before I even got through this whole story, that she understands what that is. And then she said that she's closest to it because having been an addict, I understand an addict's way of thinking. We can BS you like it's nobody's business. And that is true. When you really put your mind to something and you a drug addict, you can lie your way and weasel your way and slither your way through all kinds of stuff. And your parents be like, oh, I love my child. I don't want to hurt them. I got to, I'm going to just keep giving you, the benefit of the doubt and I'm going to try to help you. But it's like, it's beyond that. Your child is gone. They are so far gone into their addiction that it's like, this is the last straw. And I truly believe that that's what that was. So, the book is out called The Book of Sheen. The biopic or the bio series, whatever you want to call it, is out on Netflix. And they said that recent media appearances have generated significant interest in the actor's past from a range of recollections, including a time he saw a water buffalo getting its head chopped off on the set of Apocalypse Now, sexual encounters with men, and a moment he expressed regret over not reaching out to Matthew Perry before the Friend star's 2023 death from a ketamine overdose. And he said, I was going to call him, just reach out and try to meet up with him for a cup of coffee or something, and regrettably I didn't. And Jesus, 3 weeks later he died. And you know what, maybe, but I guess, I don't want to get in the whole woulda coulda shoulda thing, but maybe if he would have met up with Matthew Perry, he'd still be here today. Because it's like, look, I've been where you've been. I've been in the throes of addiction, and if you just do what you got to do to get clean, if I could do it, you could do it. So, but as I've stated, at the end of the day, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And people have to hit their rock bottom. And clearly that was the rock bottom that at that point that Martin had hit, where he's like, no, I need to do what I got to do to help my son because I don't want to be burying him because he's in the throes of addiction. So I'll say all that is to say, what do you guys think of this story? Have you read the Book of Sheen? Have you checked out the docuseries on Netflix? And whose side are you on in regards of this argument regarding Charlie Sheen and Martin calling, the police on his son for violating his probation because after ODing on drugs? Do you agree with Joy? Do you agree with Sonny? Do you agree with Alyssa? Or do you agree with Whoopi? I would say Sarah, but Sarah pretty much, like I said, always aligns herself with whatever Alyssa says, so she don't count. But what the other girl said. So whatever your thoughts are on that, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. You said, but Denise and his other wife, Brooke, were in it, and one of his daughters. It was probably Sammy that was in it, and of course Denise Richards. Denise will show up to an envelope opening at this point, and I could definitely see that Denise would show up in it, Brooke would show up in it, and then how she made the white trash sandwiches for the prostitutes that he would have over. I'm like, you a better woman than I ever be, because can you imagine like making food for some trick that your man is sleeping with? It's like, and you married to him? Troy said him and his dad get along well now. Yeah, because I'm like, at that point, he had to see the error of his ways and was like, at the time, I felt like it was a betrayal. But now I see it was like it was coming from a place of love. And you're not thinking about that when you're at that age or when you're in the throes of addiction. You're thinking like, oh, you just betrayed me. You don't love me. All right, y'all. So let's move on with the rest of the show. Let's get into this mess. So now Jess HElarious decided to assert herself in a conversation that had nothing to do with her and decided to pick a fight with T.S. Madison. Now, wasn't it once upon a time not that long ago, she took her little dumbass over there on Carlos King podcast and was talking about how, oh, I don't have no problems with the trans community. I don't have no problems with gay people, all this other stuff. While you sitting up there with him and trying to play the victim, like all of a sudden the LGBTQ community started picking on you. And I'm sick and tired of people saying, because I read the comments over there at the Neighborhood Talk, which we already know, Neighborhood Talk, Shade Room, it's going to be a lot of people in there who are anti-LGBT or whatever, and it's fine, whatever. Your kids are going to come out being faggots and trans, so it is what it is. So, and yeah, I've cursed you with all of that. But nevertheless, all when people say, "Oh, she's just giving her opinion." Why are people trying to come at her for her opinion? But when it affects you, then it's a problem. It's like, let me use for example. So people are getting mad over the fact that people are celebrating the death or mourning the death of Charlie Kirk. Black people aren't feeling so hot about it because, of course, racism and some of the racist things he said in the past, particularly about George Floyd and so many others. Saying black people should be given the right to vote and all this mess. People are pissed off about that. So that affects you. How do you think people of the queer community feel when straight people, particularly black women, come out and say negative things about us and men like Snoop Dogg? And then when we say something about it because we ain't tolerating y'all ignorance and y'all bullshit, then all of a sudden, oh, she just giving her opinion. Well, they could say the same thing about these white supremacists that say racist stuff. Oh, he just giving his opinion. Oh, that Karen's just giving her opinion. It'd just be nice if y'all could see that discrimination is discrimination. Doesn't matter where it's coming from. Be it, but I guess because that takes the foot off y'all neck regarding the other stuff. Now, black people are going to go in on black queer people. So you want black people to have equality, but not black queer folks. That's what it feels like. We excluded, even though black queer people was out there marching with Martin Luther King and some of them others for you to get the rights that you have today. Even now with the LGBT stuff that's been going on, Marsha B. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera, they were the ones that were out there marching for us, for the queer black people to have the rights that they have. But I feel like I'm going off a bit, off of where I'm going off course. Let me bring it back. So it just looks like Jess HElarious is a masochist because she felt the need to go in on T.S. Madison when T.S. Madison ain't thinking about her. She minding her business. And here you go trying to assert yourself in some mess. So Jess took to social media to question why T.S. felt the need to weigh in on Snoop Dogg's latest comments that some deemed as homophobic. As reported, the West Coast rapper was slammed for revealing he's afraid to take his grandkids to the movies after watching a lesbian couple in Disney's Lightyear. T.S., an outspoken commentator in the queer community, was one of the many who called Snoop out on his comments, which didn't sit well with Jess. Now, recapping the latest trending news, Jess said, They talking about lesbians having babies, women having babies with other women. This ain't even your colony, bitch. Goddamn. Now, here we go with the ignorance. Because look, it wasn't that long ago that Jess, who clearly is less than smart, this is the same dingbat that had no idea when they were having a conversation about Tyler Perry and Derek Dixon and that whole thing that was going on about that conversation. Derek mentioned something or another that Tyler Perry has said, "Oh, look at this stud in the picture and all this other stuff," and I said, "What's the?" Because Tyler think he is. If you like it, I love it. Basically, so she like stud. Like it didn't compute to her that before lesbian, like male presenting, like lesbians that look like dudes, like the aggressive lesbians, the brat types, basically. Before they started considering themselves like, all the other names, AGs, like aggressives or whatever the case was, they identify as studs. So I don't know if that's maybe where her mind was, and she would know because she gives stud teas in in the picture she be taking any damn way, and the way she carry herself, and that deep ass voice she got. So if anybody know about stud, it'd be her. So now, when it came down to the situation, she didn't understand that was a thing that was called. Like, yeah, men are good-looking men, attractive men. The old term is stud, not necessarily, aggressive. Like butch-looking women have adopted that term, but yes, the textbook term for a good-looking male is considered stud. So you had to explain this to her. Her air brain having that, like, this bitch is stupid. So of course, TS had to jump in on the line. I actually got the clip. Hold on, let me pull that up because I was like, I go on my rant sometimes. I'll be forgetting. I got clips to the things. So yeah, we got the clip of what she said. We'll come back and talk. Please hold.
Madison weighs in on Snoop Dogg's comments about the Lightyear movie after his grandson asked him about two lesbians having a baby. First of all, why is this ain't even your department. They talking about lesbians having baby, women having baby, like with other women. This ain't in your colony, bitch. Goddamn. T.S. Madison weighs in on Snoop Dogg's comments.
And before I get to what Maddie said, it's weird how like she thinks that our communities are separate. Like we're all under the same umbrella. Gays, lesbians, bisexuals, transgender, two-spirited, questioning, non-binary, pansexual, like we're all under the same queer umbrella. So she thinks because and it's funny how whenever it comes to women, ovaries, and babies, she always want to pipe up on and assert herself in the conversations when it comes to that. Why are you so obsessed with uteruses? Like, bitch, worry about your own fucking gut and the eggs you got, the little eggs you got left in your coochie. Why you always worrying about eggs and babies and things? So you thought you ate with that read, but it's like learn biology first. You still didn't explain how two women have babies. And here's the thing: TS is a part of the queer community, so therefore, when you come after certain demographics, she's not going to separate herself as a trans woman from lesbians. She has lesbian fans. She knows lesbians. Lesbians are part of the community. There may be some who are like some people in the community that are dismissive of trans people. There may be some queer people that are dismissive of lesbians. I'm not. I love my lesbians. I love my gays. I love my trans girls. I like everybody in the community. I feel like we all are all under the same umbrella. Now, some of you get on my damn nerves and I'll cuss you out in a minute. But for the most part, I live for the community. I live for my community. And I will go hard and windmill hard for my community. If any of you outside bitches try to come for my community, I'm going to windmill for my community. Now, if you wrong in some shit, I'm going to call you out too. But for the most part, I'm going to windmill hard for my people. So TS had every right to say something. Bitch, you need to be minding your goddamn business. And this is the one time she feel like she could pipe up and try to act like she Lauren LaRosa and do some news type stuff. But you was up in here trying to be messy and start some mess with TS. Now, when TS go and eat your ass up, then you're gonna want to play the victim again. You're gonna want another interview with Carlos King so you can sit up out here and talk about, well, I lost brand deals because she picking on me. And it's funny how I saw people in the comments that were saying that too, that they were making YTS picking on her. It's like, wait, did you not hear the video? Like, Maddie was the one is the finisher. And that's how I am too. I don't come out here deliberately be starting mess with people. But if you come at me, I'm gonna cuss you out. If you hit swing first, I'm gonna knock your ass out. I'm not a starter, but I'm a finisher. And I've never known Maddie to start no mess. Now she did say that she did like a post where excuse me, a lot of people was on social media calling Jess a man. But anyway, let's get to what Maddie said.
Look at our good sis, honey, Jess with the mess, just out there, getting into the things. Go Jess, go Jess, go Jess. Now listen, I know y'all feel like that I don't like this girl or whatever, but this girl takes every moment that she gets to try to jab something, and then y'all try to say, I say that she look like a man. But look at her. The deep-rooted microaggressions that she has towards the trans community comes from comments like this. This was just her posted the other day at a place. Look at this. Look for yourself. Yeah, I liked it. I did. I liked it because we're telling jokes, right? Every time that it's about me or any other trans or anything, we're telling jokes, right? And what I find so funny is that I'm always somewhere defending women because I see myself as a woman. But she's always on the other end. Look at our good sis, honey, Jess, terrorizing women. The Risa Tisa shit. The two lesbians here. Why, as me being a part of the LGBTQIA community, I can't speak on lesbians? Oh, because I'm not a real woman? Why can't I speak on the things, from my community? But let's look. I'm not the one calling her man. This is what she go through every day. I actually feel for my CISTER. I actually feel for her. Imagine just having a baby, bitch, and somebody calling you a handsome guy. Wow, wow, wow. Yikes. Be blessed, ho. And terrorizing.
Did you catch that when she spelled the way she spelled sister? She spelled it CISTER, sister. I was like, oh, you messy. Caught it. But yeah, so she went in and said, now, Jess, I've been really not saying much about your big dick ass, but let's play. Imagine going through the struggles of life, jobs, marriage, kids, and your menstrual cycle or menopause is kicking your ass, and you got tired ass niggas messaging you to suck your dick, or you reading comments under videos of you calling people thinking you're handsome. Well, I think she's saying you're a handsome man. But it's like, yeah, that's what all that is. That's deeply rooted hatred because you hate the fact that you have aggressive tendencies, that maybe you are strictly dickly. And if you are, that's great. But the fact that you have managed features, you got a deep voice, you carry yourself like you a bull dagger. So when all those things going on, yeah, people are going to be calling you these names and saying you a man and thinking you a chick with a dick and all this other stuff. And I know that's got to get tiresome, but instead of you getting mad at the people that's reading you for this, why you getting mad at the trans people? They're not your enemy. They're not out here bothering you. But I guess it's easy to pick on them because they're a minority and you're nothing more than a bully. But what also irritates me is how people in the comments somehow, Jess is what TS wished he could be. Like, what? First of all, trust and believe, TS do not want to be just hilarious. TS got a whole lot going on with her career. A lot of jobs booked the busy between Fag Talk, the Outlaws podcast, judging RuPaul's Drag Race, doing movies, doing all these different getting a lot of opportunities. We're just doing The Breakfast Club and a couple of comedy shows. We don't hear her with a lot of out here being booked the busy. So where in my as a like me channeling TS, but except she'd be cussing a lot more. Where would I be jealous of her when my career is popping right now? I'm living my best life. I got friends and family and people who love me. I'm doing my own thing, but y'all on the line trying to misgender me on purpose. She knows she big dick Tim. She makes some jokes and all that other stuff, so she ain't never trying to deny who she is. And I appreciate her for that. But then I was trying to see if there was then it was this one that I saw. So I don't think there's any more to add. So yeah, it's like imagine being called a handsome guy after your last baby. So yeah, these two are going at it. It is what it is. I just said, like, Jess, just leave TS alone. I don't understand why you always feeling the need to pick a fight with her. She ain't do nothing to you. She's out here minding her business. And here's the thing. If you are someone who identifies as heterosexual and you don't understand how our community works, you don't get to sit and say, this ain't even your situation. You not a real woman. I mean, you not a lesbian or whatever the case is. So why are you speaking on lesbian issues or lesbian topics or whatever? And it's like, as long as I'm a part of the LGBT, it's like me as a man, I'm not a lesbian, but when there's stuff that's going on within the community, I'm gonna talk about it. And just like, and vice versa. Gays don't only talk about gay shit. Trans people don't only talk about trans shit. And lesbians don't only talk about lesbian shit. So if this is not a wheelhouse that you're a part of, that you understand, shut the fuck up. And I think that the reason why she's doing all of this is, like I said before, this has to do with that whole anything that attached with babies and uterus and natural born, this, that, and the other, which was her little thing that she did before. And she does the microaggressions, which Maddie pointed out. She always does the microaggression. So if this is the game you're going to keep playing, don't get mad when you get smited down because you don't know when to leave the hell alone. So let's say this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Because at the end of the day, it's like, look, when I said about the whole two women having babies thing, it's like all queer people want is representation. Anything to do with queer people and queer representation doesn't always have to do with sex. In Lightyear, it wasn't like you were seeing two animated couples going down on each other. You just saw two women with a baby. And if you're not ready to explain, all the extra isms that comes with queer people and all this other stuff, you don't have to even explain all of that. All you could tell them is they adopted the kid, or the child was from a previous relationship, like he had a daddy or whatever. Or you could, I would say, artificial insemination. But if that's a little too much, just keep it at adoption. But then you gotta explain all the scientific stuff that comes with that. So I definitely want to hear from y'all in regards to this. It was like, man, they ain't do nothing to this lady, but Jess, he not hilarious, always jumping out with some bullshit. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Well, she damn sure is tired. Yeah, who did her lashes? Because of what she got the most drag queen eyelashes on. She looked like the Vixen from with bad bow ties. When the Vixen from Drag Race, who I saw a post from the Vixen earlier, where she was on my Charlie Kirk. So I don't even know who that man is. Just scroll on by, whatever the case was. All right, then. Now, speaking of lesbians, let's talk about one. Let's talk about JoJo Siwa. Oh wait, she's not a lesbian no more. She's fluid or queer. I don't know what title she go by today. So anyway, so JoJo Siwa recently did an interview where she finally addressed the backlash she received from the queer community for getting in a relationship with a man. So they feel like she betrayed the community. So Siwa was a guest on the podcast Rain with Josh Smith. Josh Smith is like the situation. Say that 10 times fast, where she talked about her experience dating a man and changing her identity from lesbian to queer. The common singer had previously identified as a lesbian when she went on Celebrity Big Brother UK. There, she met television host Chris Hughes and started a relationship with him. After all that stuff, that you had Mickey Rourke on TV talking about she's about to turn into you need to be turn like her being a lesbian, she was going to turn straight or whatever the case was. She was like, I promise you, I'm gonna just always be gay. Blah 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 blah. Then all of a sudden, when he gets kicked out of the house, it just feels a little performative. Like, oh, we got to keep the ratings going. So now we got to kind of do this whole showmance where Chris and JoJo are getting together. Now I'm all for, because I do believe sexuality is fluid. I do not believe that well, unless you really know, like, okay, no, I'm strictly dickly and I'm a gay man, or I only eat the box and I'm a lesbian. But then there are there are some people who are bisexual. There are some people who are pansexual. There are some people who want to identify as fluid. There's some people who just go by queer, which is like, it's just the broad spectrum name. Even though I remember there was a time where queer was seen as a negative word, but I always looked at it as like unusual and unique. And I prefer to be that than want to blend in and be like every damn body else. So She said, I think that's the thing. I've always told myself I'm a lesbian. And I think being here, I realized, oh, I'm not a lesbian. I'm queer. And I think that's really cool. I'm switching the letters. Fuck the L. I'm going to the Q. While some people reacted to her remarks with biphobia, others felt hurt by Siwa's fuck the L comment, especially as it came during Lesbian Visibility Week. Well, shout out to the lesbians. At the same time, many people in the queer community wrote defenses of Siwa and her sexuality and called out biphobia. Again, I'm chill by. First of all, y'all, when y'all was out there saying that, I clocked it from the beginning. I was like, y'all go all sit and spit on my middle finger. Um, on the podcast, Smith said that as an outsider looking in, he was shocked at the amount of hate she got after entering her relationship with Hughes. She said, it's hard. It's really hard. It's hard because it feels like my own family turned a little bit. And I think we are the LGBTQIA plus family, not the LG community. And it's a beautiful rainbow. And the number one saying of the queer community is love is love. And look, and Democrats say vote blue no matter who. And we've seen how that turned out. And that goes both ways. Siwa says that when she started dating Hugh, she felt like she now gets to be an example of somebody who is in the queer community that is in a heterosexual relationship. And I think that's beautiful because it just shows once again love is love. I guess what I'm trying to say is that just because you're in a heterosexual relationship, that doesn't discredit my past. You know what I mean? No, I'm confused because I'm like, you're in a heterosexual relationship, which I guess now implies that some people say, oh, so it's a phase. Being gay is not a real thing. You've been indoctrinated. You were probably molested. I promise you, like all those stereotypes that they say that how you become gay, that has never been my ministry. Like I've never been sexually abused. I didn't come from a single family household. My mother didn't smother me like I was a pork chop. Like none of that stuff happened. You just are who you are. Now, if this is still a situation where JoJo's trying to figure out who she is, then that's great. But I think that people just feel like the timing of it all, the way you went about it, the way that how Chris comes across as a little shifty and opportunistic, it's just not sitting right. And then on top of that, you were in a whole relationship with someone, and then you're in this show, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you dump her or them, however they identify. And now you're in this full-fledged relationship with some reality star. Are you trying to hope that you're gonna get like a reality TV show out of this that's gonna follow your life? Like, I don't think you're that interesting. And then you were talking about, oh, I'm the queen of gay pop or whatever that shit dumb stuff she said. So it just a lot of things about JoJo. I think is she just weird and then just rubs a lot of people the wrong way with how she does things. It just comes across as an attention grab. And I think that's why people are feeling the way they feel. Now, according to a 2024 Gallup survey, more than half of LGBTQ plus Americans identify as bisexual, or as I would say, bisexual, compared to 21% who identify as homosexual and 15% who identify as lesbian. Well, apparently I can't hit the notes yet because this voice is still the voice is still voicing. So I got a little horsey situation going on. But anyway, so now on the podcast, she also said she bonded with queer singer Fletcher, who announced that she was in a relationship with a man around the same time as her and also experienced a backlash, saying she and I have very similar story at a very similar time. And I saw people doing the same thing to her. And her and I have kind of been able to talk and be there for each other and be like, dude, this is crazy. And she's like, I get you. You get me. Like, what's happening? Maybe y'all need a scissor. Like this is from inside our own house. Now, as a cultural remedy, Siwa encouraged people to listen to Michael Jackson's 1988 song. Not Man in the Mirror. Girl, have a seat. You wasn't even born when that damn song came out. And if you want to make the world a better place, okay, I'm not even going to do that because now she want me to read the goddamn lyrics. It's like, ma'am, I was alive when that song came out. You are not going to sit up here and try to quote Michael Jackson to me. So now, when asked about bisexual erasure, she said that older people in the community need to realize that when they criticize her relationships, they're actually hurting people who are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years younger than her. I don't know how you trying to connect yourself to the whole world. It's like, as it was stated earlier in the show, before I even got to this topic, JoJo really thinks she's more famous than she thinks she is. It's like, girl, you are living in a world of delusion. But she also proposed hypothetical situations about two different 22-year-old girls, one who falls in love with a boy for the first time and one who falls in love with a girl for the first time, and says that they will think you can't change your mind, you can't fall in love. So maybe she's one of those, I forget what that term is. Maybe it's demisexual or something or another, where it's like you fall in love with the person and the energy and all that other stuff rather than like the whole sexual situation. So maybe that's what she identified. Maybe she doesn't have the word for it. That's why she's called herself queer, because it's more generalized. But there are situations where it's like we've heard many situations of women who, like, let's use Niecy Nash for an example. Maybe she'd be the perfect example. But maybe they feel like, I don't know. Maybe that people do feel like that she's a betrayal, and I think it's probably because JoJo went so hard for the queer community, like trying to overcompensate and act like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wave the big rainbow flag for the queer community, and also like the way she carried herself. And I think that's what pretty much irritated people. They're like, That's why I think she's getting so much backlash. Whereas Niecy Nash, I don't know if she got backlash. I don't recall hearing she got backlash. Maybe she did. But for many years, she was in relationships with men. Then she met Jessica Betts, and they've been together ever since. And she's in a loving relationship with her. So I think that in certain situations, maybe it gets greater later. People get older and then they change their mind about, or just wake up and they're more open and receptive to different things regarding exploring their sexuality, a part of themselves that's been dormant for a long time. And maybe that's where it's like people were easier on Niecy Nash because she's older. She's got a little, she's been around for a while. And so her getting into a relationship with someone of the same sex, it makes more sense to do that. JoJo is very young. Also, let's not forget, Chris Hughes is 10 years older than JoJo. JoJo, I believe, is 22. Chris is 32. So some people look at this as like a grooming situation. Would it be considered a grooming situation because JoJo is significantly younger? Her frontal lobe hasn't fully developed yet. So how does she know what she wants? How is she so self-assured about her sexuality and what she wants in a relationship, or if she wants to be with guys? So I guess it's a lot to think about. But JoJo girl, I just feel like whenever you say something, I get you, like, just go figure out yourself and all this stuff. But I just feel like every time you talk, um, people just be looking at you sideways, and it's just like you make it worse. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what JoJo Siwa had to say about y'all picking on her and the backlash she received because she decided to no longer eat the box? And now she's all about the Nathan's hot dogs. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. She really out here thinking she a pioneer. Exactly. And I think that's the funny part. She's running out here acting like she the queen of this and she's a pioneer for the queer community. And I think that's why she's got so much backlash, because she was running around here with her pom-poms, acting like she's a cheerleader for the queer community. And they were looking at her like, girl, go sit your ass down somewhere. And now that you decided to go and you were in a relationship with a girl and then you go and jump into a relationship with a guy, now it's like, oh, it's the ultimate betrayal. Maybe there are some people that are by erasures that have a problem with, like, don't believe, straight people and queer people who do not believe that you can like both genders. I do believe that bisexuality exists, but some people don't. And that's on them. That ain't about you. That's about her and what she believes. So, she do think she's a pioneer, and I think that's what's probably rubbing a lot of people the wrong way as well. The overall narcissism. She's like a WeHo gay. She found a modicum of fame in a niche community, and now she thinks she the second coming. Okay. Yeah, girl, you only hitting a small market. It's not like you got the Lady Gaga audience, where you got the gays, women, couples, older people, because they had everybody, little kids, they had everybody up at that mayhem ball. But anyway, let's move on, y'all. And let's get into our final topic. Let's talk about Drag Race Philippines Slaysian Royale. So I believe they recently released the latest episode, and kind of find out that the cast recently reacted in the recent episode to Jiggly Caliente while they were filming. They had found out that she passed away at the age of 44 in April. Now, the cast and crew of Drag Race Philippines Slaysian Royale have revealed that they found out about Jiggly Caliente's passing during the filming of the latest episode. The latest addition to the RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars format is the currently airing Drag Race Philippines Slaysian Royale, which for the first time brings together all Asian queens to battle for a crown for the second time. The series features queens from across the globe and is hosted by Drag Race Philippines main judge Paolo Ballesteros, known as Mama Pao. For the first 3 seasons of Drag Race Philippines, OG Drag Race girl Jiggly Caliente also judged the show. In April, it was announced that she would not be returning as a judge due to severe infection, which led to the amputation of her right leg. Caliente died days after the announcement at age 44. And now, Slaysian Royale guest judge Captivating Cat, who won Drag Race Philippines Season 2, has revealed why the cast and judges of the show were so emotional during the latest episode, and saying because they had found out Jiggly had passed that day during filming. Saying, quote, "This episode was really emotional for us. After the critics, they informed us about Jiggly's passing. That's why," or I think she meant after the critiques. They informed us about Jiggly's passing. "That's why we're crying in the latter part of the episode. We missed you, sis, Jiggly." Now, in clips of episode 5, which saw Bernie, a queen from Drag Race Philippines season 2, eliminated, if I should have said spoiler alert, if for those of y'all that are watching the show. But anyway, um, the judges, including Global All Stars winner Alyssa Edwards, were seen tearing up during the final moments, saying, "Remember, always be true to yourself in your thoughts, in your words, and in all that you do," Mama Powell said after this episode's elimination. They do have the clip on the social medias. I was like, maybe I could play it. Hold on, but let me change the. Hopefully, I don't get a copyright strike. I was like, let me change the speed a little bit. Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right, hold on. Let's get to it.
Remember, always be true to yourself in your thoughts, in your words, and in all that you do. Puso, puso at puso pa rin. We love you, Jiggly. Can I get an Eme up in here?
Eme.
Now let the music play. Party, party now.
Right, so they're hugging at the end. I didn't want to play that music because I'm like, I don't need RuPaul coming after me. So anyway, so yeah, so then they said, "We love you, Jiggly," blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Now, following her passing, Star was remembered around the world. A statement from her family read that Jiggly, whose real name was Bianca Castro, was a luminous presence in the worlds of entertainment and advocacy. Jiggly Caliente was celebrated for her infectious energy, fierce wit, and unwavering authenticity. She touched countless lives through her artistry, activism, and genuine connection she fostered with fans around the world. Jiggly Caliente's first appearance on season 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race first appeared on season 4 in 2012 of RuPaul's Drag Race. She then returned for All Star 6 in 2021, having come out as a trans woman in 2016. She was also inducted into the National LGBTQ Wall of Honor after she died. So shout out to you, Jiggly. You will definitely be missed. We should definitely honor our sister. And yeah, you were definitely one of the good ones, and sad that we had to lose you. So shout out to you and shout out to your family and all that good stuff. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding did you see the recent episode of Slaysian Royale? I do apologize for the spoiler alert. I mean, not giving y'all the spoiler before, the person was eliminated, but um I was reading the thing and didn't even, my brain was going faster than my mouth, or my mouth was going faster than my brain. So yeah, but otherwise, what'd you think? Did you watch the episode? Now everybody sees like why the emotion, all that stuff. I would say kind of would have put that in the show. where it's like, oh, they just found out about Jiggly. Y'all could have added it as a part of it, but I guess they wanted to make it feel more like a competition and didn't want to go outside of making it feel like, oh, it's a competition show. And also, we're doing like a reality TV breaking the fourth wall type of thing. So I guess it was better off for them revealing it on social media. So now we know why they was. I'm like, why are y'all crying? But then, and then we sitting there thinking that you mad because y'all crying because the other girl was eliminated. Would you seen that happen with these shows? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now it looks like we are at the end of the show. Yep, so it looks like we're at the end of the show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please, if you have not done so already, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And I just realized I did not hit my banner at all today. I just realized that when I was doing the whole show. It is what it is, but now y'all know entertainment purpose only, blah, blah, blah. As long as I get it in there, we good. So yeah, love you all for watching. I won't be on until about Monday because that'll be the only day I have off next week, but I'm gonna try to be squeezing in more shows. Probably have to do some early ones so that way I can, squeeze it in. But yeah, this whole weekend I'm gonna be busy. I got the Cali Uchis show tomorrow. And I forget there's another concert I have on Saturday. But yeah, there's a lot of events and stuff that's gonna be happening. So yeah, I'll be back next week with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Have a great weekend. I guess happy September 11th. We do need to keep the spirit alive of what happened so we don't forget those that who we lost and all the good stuff. But yeah, love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for your continued support. And until next time, ciao, darlings.